Hi, good evening. My name is David. I use he, him pronouns, and today I am running the first in a run of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. Thirsty Sword Lesbians is a powered by the Apocalypse game of queer romance and action by April Kit Walsh. It is recently had a very successful, incredibly successful, in fact, Kickstarter, and is due to be published in association with Evil Hat. I assume some point this year, seeing as we've only just started it, but you can find out more by going to the Kickstarter page. I believe it is also still available on itch maybe, but it might not be. I'm not quite sure what their arrangement with their Evil Hat is, but it is well worth a look anyway, at the point it becomes available. So the in this particular run, we are going to be kind of setting a game in a world loosely based on Greek mythology to some extent or other. We'll be having a little bit of a discussion on that in more detail in just a moment. We've already had some discussion on our kind of lines and veils, safety tools we'll be using, all that sort of thing before I started this recording. And we'll in a second we'll dive in with starting to build up our world. We'll build out our characters. And yeah, in general, get this game kicked off. So this game is being run as part of the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing group. We have a monthly gaming calendar where we put up games like this that people can sign up for. You can join in and see what games we have, sign up for some, see what's going on and stuff at our website at gauntlet-rpg.com. I believe there is actually now also a second URL that I think is just gauntletcalendar.com, which also takes you to all the stuff about the games that are run on there. So you can check that out. I will put links to that down below. Yeah, as well as running games like this, we also have a series of podcasts that are available. We have a monthly gaming zine called Codex, which is available eventually through RPG, and also by being a Patreon to the group, which will get you that access to that. Yeah, so do check that out. You can find information on all of that from that same website. So with all that said and done, I'll just quickly go through. We've already introduced ourselves to each other earlier, but I was ask my players to quickly introduce themselves. Just name and stuff is fine. I will start going from right to left this time. So Diana, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yes, Olas. I go by Diana Moon online. I use she, her pronouns. You can find me on Twitter at Diana Moon. I am a sensitivity reader and RPG editor.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Stephen, yeah, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey there, I'm Steven, he, him. I'm not much to speak of.
Yeah, but an excellent role player. So as ever, more than welcome there. Yeah. and last but not least, Gawain.
Noswaith da, I'm Gerwin. He, him, and I've been, as I mentioned earlier, I've been on the Gauntlet 3 years, and I've been really looking forward to playing this game. So maybe playing a bit too much Assassin's Creed Odyssey to actually get ready for it, but we'll have to see.
That sounds like perfect preparation. So
No such thing as playing too much Assassin's Creed.
yeah, that is very true.
What I can't understand about it is I can never find a picture of the actual game with the hero on the cover. They've always got this strange man on there instead. That's the villain.
Excellent. So yeah, as we just said, we'll be playing. We'll be sort of doing just now a bit of building together of words of the sort of world we'll be building. And we have the sort of generalized idea. It will be a kind of the world of Greek myth. I am going to we'll go through this palette. We can add things. So as I said, we can add things to the yes column. These are things that we would like to see. We can also add things to the no column. These are things that we would rather not see. We will kind of not make the focus of the sort of worlds we start to build it. Once we've kind of got a little idea from the palette of the sort of direction we're going in, we'll then work out two things. So one of the big assumptions of the game, that's what I'm looking for, is that you will form your own community of progressive minded and generally awesome folk. So we'll go through and do a little bit on that side of it. We will then also kind of build up your counterpart, the toxic powers. These are these sort of forces that you are fighting against that are generally more authoritarian, reactionary, generally uncool. So that's sort of what we'll be doing sort of in that world building side of it. We'll then sort of once we've got all that, or at least got some ideas down for that, and we've got somewhere to work from, we'll then go into building out your characters. So I'm just going to go through. So I already see one of the things we've got on the yes side of the palette is mortals versus gods, which definitely seems like a good thing to lean into if we are playing around with this sort of Greek myth idea. I'm actually going to add in one of my own things on here, which is one of my favorites on this thing, which is like the idea of these very like human gods in the sense of having kind of very human motivations rather than being kind of ineffable celestial things. That I like that sort of soap opera drama with the Greek gods. So that's definitely an aspect I would like to see in. So I will just go through. Gowan, is there anything you would like to add to either the yes or the no column of the palette at this sort of at this stage?
I'd actually like to do a trip to the underworld at some point, and actually look at and potentially look at that as something to explore in game.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I'm definitely up for seeing the underworld in. I will pop that in. I'm typing in the wrong box.
And by the underworld, I mean Hades realm. So
yep.
Just to clarify.
Yeah, no, that's what I seem to say. Yeah, see. Elysium and Asphodel and all that, and yes, as mentioned in our initial chat, I've been playing far too much Hades this last month, so yeah, that's cool. I'm sure we can fit that in. Stephen, is there anything else you would like to add to either the yes or the no column?
I'm still thinking on that myself. I might have something in a moment though.
Yeah, no, that's no rush at all. And Diana, how about yourself?
We need some oracle prophecies.
Yeah.
Could I clarify that somewhat as well? Could we actually have that as in fighting against fate?
Yeah, absolutely.
And by fate, I don't necessarily mean the fates.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You've got to be so careful when
possibly
describing.
Also that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that is cool. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm just thinking if there's anything that I don't want to see. We obviously we've got some stuff on our lines and veils. Yeah, I suppose I will. This is sort of covered by some of the lines and stuff we've set up, but yeah, one of the things I don't want to do is what's the word I'm looking for, is that as I sort of mentioned in our initial chat, that like some of the more problematic issues of Hellenistic culture, ancient Hellenistic culture in general, and are very much obviously manifested in sort of some of the myths. So for instance, the fact that Hera is always portrayed as the bad guy in any of the stuff featuring Hera and Zeus, which is certainly a take. But yeah, so I'm going to put on that. I'll just put replicating
mythology stereotypes.
I think I'll put problematic tropes. There we go. That's probably as yeah.
No, I think I'm funny for coming up with this pun. No Zeus ex machina.
Sure thing. Yeah, that is fair. I think it's, and we'll kind of have a bit of a chat as well. That's one thing I do want to kind of get people's thing on. But yeah, I think obviously we have this idea of the gods being powerful, but yeah, we don't actually want to just have every episode end with one of the gods coming down and going, now I'll fix things, like you would in a Greek play. So cool. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to the palette in either the yes or the no column?
I was trying to figure out some way we could actually thematically work in a Greek chorus as a way to do montages and the like. Yeah,
I'm certainly up for putting that in the yes column. Again, I'm not sure exactly how, but
no,
I think
neither do I.
I think it's definitely something we could try and fit in somehow.
But actually describing montages in third person.
Yeah. That's cool. Awesome. So yeah, sorry.
I'm wondering if something I do think I want to throw in is maybe divine curses, if that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I didn't know if you consider that a problematic trope, so I just wanted to.
No, I think that's fine. No, that's definitely cool. I think So I to be clear, I think that's more specifically about I'm happy for us to still have the sort of like cursing people for having made the mistake of getting involved in the god's business or whatever. But just
One thing I'd just like to clarify with that, though, is the whole line on mind control.
Yeah.
If people act under the curse, I'd like it to be because it's the characters or NPCs' choice on how to react based on it, rather than being impelled to do it themselves.
Yeah, sure thing.
We don't want another Hercules killing his entire family.
That's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. No, that is cool. Perfect. So as ever, we can always kind of adjust this to fit as we go through anyway. But yeah, this gives us a good starting point. One of the things that I am going to ask, and this is an entirely open question, is do people have a sort of a preference for playing like demigods, mortal heroes, the gods themselves, or any sort of thing elsewise in that scale? And I'm happy if people want to play a mix of stuff as well. That is also cool. But does anyone have any sort of strong thoughts on that?
I have no problem with it whatsoever. I have a character concept that's based around the gods themselves, but the character is not godly in any way.
Cool.
Yeah, I have no preference. I have no idea what type of character I'm going to create just yet. But
Yeah, that's fair.
yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, I think in that case, we will start out, I think, by going through. I'm just wondering, actually, if I want to, which way around it makes more sense to do this. I'm going to actually go to. Yeah, I think we will do. If we'll start going through the world building questions first. If there are any where we sort of come to when you think, actually, I'd rather get an idea of like where our characters are at first, we can come back to those later. We don't have to do it all at once. But I think if we do a little bit on the idea of this like community or creating, it might help people to narrow down on the on what characters you want to sort of bring into things. So yeah, on this world building tab down on the left hand side, we've also got this list of community questions. The first one of these is, what is the scale of your community? And so I think one of the things that's like to consider here is the idea is, like I said, this community is basically something that you will all have ties to in some way, whether it's actually a you know, a club with, you know, membership badges and everything else, or if it's more just a kind of general ethos or something else. One of the classic examples for something like this might be, you know, the crew of the crew of a ship, you know, the sort of the Odyssey style, or
exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. So does anyone have an idea for the sort of scale of community you'd be interested in? I mean, like I said, this could be this could be, like I said, something like a group of just a group of individuals, or in the manner of, like I said, that the ship's crew or mercenary company or that sort of thing. It could be a city, state, or an island. It could be Olympus, if you decided that's the you know, the community you're interested in playing. So yeah, what are people's thoughts on that?
Does anyone else want to go first, or? Okay. I did think about a ship's crew, because that is a classic of Greek storytelling. There's something similar in the lines of the Argonauts, but a bunch of thirsty sword lesbians, or a community, potentially a community of actual actors based around Athens and the actual agoras there and the like. Or it could even be a philosopher's society or something similar.
Well, since we're kind of going for like lighthearted Xena, like, what if we were pirate actors? Have the best of both worlds.
Pirate actors, I love it. We could have all the Greek tragedy Greek actors' masks as our actual. Each have our own distinctive mask as a thing in addition to the sword.
Yeah, I like that, and it's the whole thing. It's the whole conceit, like you know, a traveling actors troupe. Except we're traveling on the seas to other big ships, and then after we do our show, we steal in from them.
Can I
No one
build?
would believe you, because like you really got yourselves like pirated from actors.
Can I add to that? Yes, and I like the idea that we don't actually have a captain, but whoever actually gets the captain's mask for each performance is the one that actually is the captain of the ship for that.
Oh yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, Stephen, what are you thinking?
Oh, I guess my other thoughts, because people like since the two of you seem to be going along those lines, I kind of also want to throw in then to the palette is some of the mythic societies. Like I feel if we're going over the top kind of Greek fantasy, but that there are like Atlanteans and Amazons about.
Yeah, cool. That's
Because
cool.
that would be my other alternative to like doing it on a ship, is that we're set in one of those mythic places.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But yeah, I like that idea that we kind of bring in those so Atlanteans and Hyperboreans and all that sort of mythical peoples, and go very kind of big with those that were.
There's no reason that our home port couldn't be Atlantia.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was gonna say Lesbos, given the actual game itself, but
yes, yeah. That's cool. Yeah, so I think that sounds like a cool. So the next question is, how have you kept your community safe this long?
The Dread Pirate Roberts.
I think I like the idea that we've made ourselves a myth, in that the stories that we actually tell on land and around people make the whole pirate group up to be just an elaborate story that people tell, and we basically blow it out of all proportions so that no one believes it when people actually.
It's actually the play we do is about our ship. And so, of course, anybody who says they got pirated, people just say, well, but you just watched that play and you're copying that story now.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
It was like, oh, honey, that was a play, not real life.
Awesome.
Fake news.
If you're going
Fake
to
news.
lie, yes, if you're going to lie, don't just rip off that popular play.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. And the next question is, what do you love about your community? And obviously, if you may have a couple of different thoughts on this, but yeah, what's something that is appealing about the community you're in?
I would say probably the adventure of it, like the adventure thrill of being able to do something like this.
I mean, and let's be honest, we're a pirate theater troupe. We're all gay disasters. Like I feel like that's like the requirement to become a part of a piratical theater troupe.
Yes, exactly.
That is very fair. That is very fair. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say maybe freedom as well. Sounds like it's definitely Awesome. Okay, so which NPC do you most associate with this virtue? Who is one NPC, presumably one NPC aboard your ship, who kind of embodies this your kind of freewheeling, adventurous life?
I quite like the idea that our playwright is actually the equivalent of our Gabrielle.
Yes.
And
I was also thinking of I've only played like 1 hour of Hades, but I love Skelly.
Yes,
Skelly the
Skelly
playwright.
is cool. Yeah, and you could also absolutely have Sappho as your playwright if you want. Just putting that out there. But yeah, we can come back and give some more detail into them in a later thing. Unless anyone has anything else they want to add for now.
Oh, that's good.
Cool. Yeah, awesome. So what is a serious flaw that your community has?
I think it's the fact that we're making enemies everywhere. All these people that we're actually robbing and the like are out to get us, and we're basically painting ourselves with a big target as a result. We are seen as troublemaker. Well, the pirates are seen as troublemakers, and we have the issue that if it becomes public knowledge, we're up shit's creek.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. And what NPC do you most associate with that flaw? And again, this is probably someone's within your community, as it were.
Probably like I'm thinking my mind goes to Pirates of the Caribbean instead of Greek, but like the equivalent to what Commander Norton was, like whatever the Greek equivalent of that. Like,
I quite like the idea of a Spartan general, actually, a Spartan admiral
Yeah.
actually hunting us.
Yeah. Cool.
Should we call her, because it's got to be a female, because otherwise we can't romance them as easily. So should we call them Hester?
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. I was trying to think of a punny Greekish equivalent to Russell Crowe. But I only have 2 cups of coffee in me.
That's fair. Cool. So the next question is, what is a dramatic place in or near your community to have a sword fight?
On the plank. Or on the, what do you call it? Like when you're up on the bat.
Up in the tops.
Yeah, like up in the top.
Sorry, up on the mast and.
Yeah. The horizontal masts.
Yes,
I know,
yeah.
lingo.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next question is, who or what threatens your community from the inside?
That's an interesting one.
I mean, I feel like, because the adventures, and what we love is adventures and thrills, and I feel like perhaps there's a kind of everyone wants to be like, this is kind of going with the Aegon, but everyone is kind of in it to be like the biggest star of the community, and have the lead role of in any particular heist.
Oh, professional jealousy.
Yeah,
and,
rivalry.
Yeah, I love that. So who is it who's always trying to get the lead role? Do we need to name an NPC or?
That's actually one of the next steps. we so the next couple of questions, I think only a couple of these will. So what do they want? So the next question on that is what do they want, as in this thing that threatens our community from the inside? And I think in this case it's glory, essentially. And I think there's the danger here is probably the I guess that if you
poor decisions and exposure.
Yeah. And why are they appealing? Seems quite obvious, really. Is that everyone wants to be the the big name. Yeah.
Glory.
Glory again. And yes, this is how we get down to the person most associated with this threat. So if there's another NPC that you can think of here that you want to bring in,
you just call her Gloria.
Location I don't think is particularly relevant for that, but cool. So we have that sort of we have some ideas about that initial stuff. So I think what I'm going to do now is we'll take a quick break, because I could certainly do with some water if nothing else. Then we'll come back. I'll say maybe if we take about a 10-minute break. If you do as well want to start having a look through the playbooks, if you haven't yet, that would also be cool. Obviously take a break first and foremost, but if you do want to start having a flick through playbooks as well, when we come back we will have a discussion. We can either go straight in with looking at the toxic powers and start fleshing those out a bit as well, or if we want to do characters first and then go into toxic powers, we'll chat when we get back. But if we come back on the hour, and then we'll chat further then, as I'll see you all shortly. Yes, so as I sort of mentioned, we've got our toxic powers to look at. So I guess actually I'll ask, do people have a preference? Would people like to look at characters and get characters built first and then decide what sort of threats you'd like to see? Or do we want to do sort of building out those toxic powers and then creating characters? Does anyone have a strong feeling one way or the other?
I think I'd prefer to get the toxic powers done first, and then we can build characters around that.
Yeah, that works for me if everyone else is cool with that. In terms of our toxic powers, what we have here is we can make 2 of these. We'll definitely do 1. We may make a second if we come up with an idea. We may add them in later. I think we'll see what kind of we come up with. So what we've got, again, similar sort of thing. We just have a few questions to answer to define what they are, who they are, and again to give kind of a face to that. These are often, the toxic powers are often going to be sort of forces of power within the world. What are people interested in seeing? Certainly for our first toxic power, and if we come up with a couple of ideas, then we can obviously do both. So that's fine.
I'd actually like to see the gods as a toxic power.
Yeah.
I don't know if people want it to be a specific god or if it's just the gods in general. Going back to the thing in the palette of gods versus mortals.
Yeah,
I'm fine with the gods in general.
Yeah,
obviously, in case the devoted might play the serve the god, that's the exception or something. But
exactly, we can if we refer to them as like the gods of Olympus in general, but that doesn't mean that if you want to have like somebody who worships Artemis or whatever else, then they can still be in that. And it should also be pointed out that one of the moves in this is actually quite similar to the gaze into the abyss power in Monster Hearts. Is basically dealing with the toxic powers. So having something like the gods of Olympus, it makes a lot of sense for that, because you can kind of entreat upon them for their power, but it's at the risk of sort of falling snare to their machinations.
And since we already also brought it up, I feel like we should also perhaps detail Sparta as the second toxic power.
Yeah, I like that.
Or if we also wanted to get a little bit more open with that, we could even just say like the second toxic power is the ongoing Trojan War or something.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think Sparta's quite a good one, because it's got quite a neat. There's a lot of stuff to play with in there,
and very specific gender roles as well, which is nice to come actually push up against.
Cool. Awesome. So we'll go through. We'll do the gods of Olympus first. The first question is: do they threaten your community from within or from outside? I mean, I guess depending on how you look at it, it might be a bit of both, but it feels like more of an external threat. I would say.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree with that as well.
There may be kind of some internal strife if you still have people within the community who still are particularly pious or whatever. That might cause some internal friction, but yeah, primarily the actual gods themselves are an external threat. Cool. What do they want? There are some suggestions here, but you don't have to choose one of them. You can pick whatever. Domination, order, safety, strife, conformity, silence, possessions, to humiliate, or to tear down your achievements are the suggested ones. Do any of those sound like they fit, or do you think it's something else that they want?
I think they want to control us. I think it's conformity to actually exert their influence over us.
I think they also want to humiliate in the kind of sense of, because I feel like that's always the thing of like what inevitably pretty much every character in Greek mythology gets punished for in order to do.
Yeah, exactly.
If we are a group of actors, it's very likely that we're actually going to be wearing the masks with the gods' faces on while we're robbing these people.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd give them a very good reason not to like us.
Sure thing. Yeah, sure thing. Awesome. Why are they so dangerous? I feel like this is a fairly simple answer here. That they're the gods.
Can we mark all of those ones that they've got down there?
Yes.
I see control of media. I'm just thinking like, how would you do fake news in the Greek society?
Rival plays, rival play companies.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, poets and philosophers and
having a forum where it's supposed to be all real things, but it's just the Spartan propaganda.
Kind of seeing people riding horses and saying they must be monsters.
Yeah. Awesome. And what is appealing about the gods of Olympus?
I think it's their power, but I also think it's the fact that they get their very nature. It brings about what we're looking for: the adventure, the freedom, the drama of it all.
Yeah, that's cool.
They're almost intoxicating.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
They,
In a way that no mortal can ever be.
yeah. Oh no, they're hot. Yeah, excellent. Perfect. Define at least one location associated with each toxic power. So with this one, sorry, I forgot that this is the layout is slightly different in the book. It has one line with 2 columns, whereas I did 2 columns. So define at least one location associated with the toxic power. Why would it be a dramatic place to have a sword fight?
Is that the Parthian?
Could be, yeah. We could definitely have the Parthenon in there.
Or would it be Olympus itself?
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was also also the gates of the underworld. Although that's more the Chthonic gods. Yeah.
Or could you imagine actually having a sword fight on Sharon's skiff as he's actually rowing it? And you're literally having to fight round him? As the souls of the dead reach up from the water to try and grab people and try and latch on to be pulled into the underworld itself and away from their punishment.
Charon is just trying to do his job, man.
Awesome. So yeah, which one do you think you want to pick? I mean, obviously, you're not restricted to only fighting in one, but what do we want to kind of record as like the iconic one here? I guess.
Do you remember if you've all played that game of if you've all played Assassin's Creed Odyssey? Do you remember the statue of Zeus?
Yes.
Because I actually think having a fight on a statue of a god would be an absolute epic thing to do.
But
Sure.
like the naked statue?
Oh God, yes, it has to be the naked statue.
Yeah.
If you've not actually no, that's probably not safe for work, so I'm not going to say that.
That's why I just said naked statue and not specifically.
Fig leaves.
Excellent. Yeah. And create an NPC to act as the face of the toxic power. So, I mean, obviously, I guess this is the which of the gods are you most interested in having be like whether that be either the person who is most keen on bringing you all down a peg, or the one you interact with most potentially, or it could be obviously like a priest or something. But yeah, who do you think it would be an interesting NPC to act as the face of the gods of Olympus?
So I guess the question is, do we want to go with one of the gods or do we want to go with a champion?
Could I make a suggestion?
Sure.
The Oracle of Delphi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could definitely work.
Yeah, she interprets the will of the gods. Apollo, I think it is normally, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's the Apollo Delphinius or something, isn't it? It's that's probably actually Latin. But anyway, yes, cool. Yeah, I will put down the Oracle of Delphi as.
Yeah, because the temple's like the Apollonium or something.
Yeah. Awesome. How do these? I don't feel that's a particularly relevant question, really. That the gods are the gods. The Spartans are largely beholden to them to one extent or another. The gods enjoy playing with the Spartans, like all other mortal men. So that's fine. So number 2, our second toxic power is Sparta, the city-state of Sparta. So again, I think this is the first one is a fairly straightforward one. Do they threaten your community from within or from outside? And again, this I see is very much an external threat again. That's the thing. So what do the Spartans want?
I mean, domination.
Yeah, I think that is a fairly straightforward one there. And I'd say probably as well, part of that is probably order. You are a disruptive force, and they aren't having any truck with that. So that is cool. Why are they so dangerous?
I would say obviously skill at arms.
Yeah.
Agents everywhere. Well, agents everywhere or numbers, either one, I think.
I was going to say, yeah, probably numbers definitely sounds about right. And I think I'm absolutely also going to add ruthlessness on there.
Exactly what I was thinking as well.
Yeah. Yes, the Spartans do not play nice. Awesome. What is appealing about the Spartans?
Their sense of dress.
I think it's their power as well. At this point, they're very much a dominating empire.
Yeah.
Yeah, they offer wealth and power to those who serve them.
Cool. And define at least one location associated with the Spartans, and why would it be a dramatic place to have a sword fight?
I mean, the prow of the Spartan flagship is my immediate thought.
Yeah.
Also, the bedroom of the Spartan commander. I've also seen 300 Rise of a Nation.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. So obviously the third option is obviously going to be next to a really big hole for no apparent reason.
Or it could. What's that hill?
Yes, the Thermopylae.
The hot gates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although that does indicate that the Persians are around as well.
Okay, so the next one is to create an NPC to act as the face of the toxic power. I feel like we probably actually already have them in that is probably going to be the Admiral Hester.
We Dana and I were actually discussing renaming them
cool.
as a pun on Russell Crowe.
Oh, cool.
There's a Greek name which is Coronis.
Cool. No, that is good. I will.
And it is a female name as well, which is always a bonus.
Perfect. And yeah, again, we've already covered how do the toxic powers relate to one another. So the next and as I said, probably final for this evening's step is to look at our character playbooks. I don't know if you've had a chance to look through these. I will do a very quick précis of them all. So the ones that we have are the Beast, who lives beyond the edge of civilization, living amongst the animals like an animal. She follows instinct and passion, which puts her in conflict with civilization and civilized norms. Her central conflict is living her truth versus gaining the acceptance of civilized society. So this is kind of your like obviously like beast person, werewolfy type figure. There is a very strong assumption in this playbook that you do actually physically transform into an animal or animal-like form. So that is the beast. They're all about, like as it says, sort of being bold and brash and not really fitting in with society, or struggling to fit in with society. We have this. Actually, sorry. I'll ask people to read these around in turn. I think so that it's not just me droning on ad infinitum. So I'll just go through in the order I can see people on my screen. So Stephen, if you'd like to read the scoundrel. These are on the on the PCs tab there. It's got a little blurb text at the top, so you don't have to shuffle through the PDF if you don't want to.
Yeah, the scoundrel is a woman of action and intense physicality. Her sword fights are punctuated by banter and flirtation, and end in kisses as often as they end in bloodshed. Her central conflict lies in her urge to explore new horizons versus committing to purpose or security.
Awesome. Yeah, and this is the scoundrel is very much that sort of it's the sort of like Han Solo roguish adventurer type. They have a lot of stuff about like having falling in and out of love with people very quickly. So yeah, Gawain, if you would like to read The Devoted.
The Devoted is a selfless protector, committed to a person or a cause. Her central conflict lies in pitting this devotion against self-care.
Yeah, so as it suggests, the Devoted has like a cause that they are devoted to. They're also like self-sacrificing paladin-y type character, essentially. Cool, thank you very much. And Diana, if you would like to read The Chosen.
The Chosen playbook revolves around special status, relationships across social strata, and the crushing expectations of fate, family, or the adoring public. Her central conflict is inner truth versus crushing social expectation.
Yeah, awesome. So if anyone has a particular interest in the fate side of things, this is absolutely the playbook for you. They have kind of a whole lot of stuff about like having a fated destiny and having to either further that or face the consequences. So so that one is quite thematically appropriate for this game. Cool. I'll go back. I'll go, Stephen, if you'd like to read out The Nature Witch.
Yeah, the nature witch is deeply connected to her environment and less experienced when it comes to people. She is learning that the world is wider and more wondrous than she imagined. Her central conflict revolves around choosing to maintain or abandon her ways as naivety gives way to experience.
Yeah, this one is my feeling is it's got that kind of druid come Disney princess thing of being able to speak to the animals, but also being quite naive and trusting and that sort of thing. Awesome. So yeah, Gowan, if you would like to read The Seeker, please.
The Seeker comes from a toxic society and has found a new community to which they belong and grow. Her central conflict pits tradition and upbringing against justice and her personal values.
Yeah, so this one has kind of that's just that the sort of central thing in this is that you still have ties back to the society you come from, prejudices based on that, traditions that you follow based on the culture that you've come from, and it's kind of about how you deal with those, how you change, how you learn new lessons about the world, and sort of forge your own identity outside of that culture from which you come. Cool. And yeah, Diana, if you would like to read The Spooky Witch.
Yeah, let me just scroll over to the side.
No worries.
The Spooky Witch playbook is about being a weirdo and doing your own thing while craving connection. Many monsters are quite friendly if you give them a chance, but befriend them and you'll be seen as a monster as well. Her central conflict lies in navigating pressures to conform versus her own desires or those of her monstrous friends.
Yeah, so this one is basically equal parts like black magic and spookiness and being a massive geek, essentially. It has a lot of sort of um, nerdy aspects as well as the more spooky side of things. In specific as well, a lot of stuff to do with the spirits of the dead and all that sort of stuff. If that is an area that you are interested in, if you want to start messing about with Hades and all that. Cool. So yeah, Stephen, if you would like to read the Trickster.
Yeah, the trickster is manipulative and calculating. She fears closeness, sincerity, and vulnerability. If she shows you the truth of her heart, she'll be wearing a mask to do it. Her central conflict lies in desiring closeness while fearing vulnerability.
Cool. Yeah, and this one that is pretty self-evident one. Basically, you're very good at being deceptive and stuff, but have difficulty dealing with people in an honest way. You have a tracker called feelings, which builds up when you have feelings. So yeah, it's quite a fun one. And yeah, go on if you'd like to read our final one, the infamous.
The infamous has a wicked past, and she's trying to do better. Her central conflict lies in doubting that the world and its heroes really are as good as they demand she become. Will she seek forgiveness or despair at the world's hypocrisy? Will she find a new place to belong?
Yeah, and this one is obviously someone who has once been kind of a bad guy, being a villain, and a lot of the stuff in this playbook, you get quite a bit of say in like how you've been linked into when villains appear. You can kind of have past with them and all this sort of thing.
It's basically Zuko, isn't it?
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. Cool. So I will go back around to Stephen. Do any of these appeal to you at the outset? Or which of these appeal to you? Hopefully, at least some of them do.
I have a lot of ways I could go. I guess right now I have thoughts for perhaps a seeker or maybe an infamous, but I don't have a strong attachment to either of those.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. That's cool. And yeah, go. And how about you? Do you have thoughts on any of those playbooks?
Yes, I'd like to play the Devoted.
Cool.
I'd like to play the Devoted, or alternatively, I was thinking the Nature Witch with a slight tweak.
Cool. Yeah, no worries. No, it's awesome. And yeah, Diana, how about you?
My top 3 is Trickster, Infamous, or Spooky Witch.
Cool. Sounds like we don't have much overlap there. I guess the only particular one that I think was on two people's list was the infamous. I know you said you were thinking either that or Seeker. Stephen, do you have a preference?
Yeah, I'm fine going with Seeker. I think that's probably the first thought I have anyway.
Yep, cool. So yeah, if you want to grab Seeker, then that's cool. Yeah, go. And it sounds like you feel free to grab the Devoted if you want to go for that. And yeah, Diana, obviously feel free to go for whichever appeals most.
Yeah, Trickster and Infamous. I don't know. I always like the outsider type characters.
Yeah, they're both good, but they're both quite good fun. Those when I played this the other week, it was for the Star Wars Saturdays thing, and I played an Infamous as an ex-Imperial intelligence officer. Ex-Imperial Navy officer. Now on this like ship of smugglers. It was good fun. I used a picture of Babe Newworth from Frasier, amongst other things, as her
Oh,
avatar.
interesting.
She had like the proper, tied back,
Yeah. Oh
severe
my gosh.
hair, and yeah.
Now I can't unsee her in Star Wars. Yeah, I think though, like, because yeah, Infamous really does call to me, but considering the world that we built, it doesn't quite make sense, at least. So I think I'm gonna go with Trickster.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool.
If you go Infamous, you could go an out-and-out pirate that was a known pirate before you joined this band of actors.
I mean, maybe you were the person sent to sink who sank Atlantis for the gods, but
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, and yeah,
I'll stick with Trickster.
cool, yeah.
Yeah, because I love calculating characters. I'm not good at being calculating, so I want to see if I can stretch myself a bit.
Awesome. Yeah, no, it sounds fun. I think the Trickster does look a lot of fun. I just love the fact that they have a stat called feelings.
Damn these feelings.
Yeah, cool. So I'll give you all a little moment to go through and start filling out the details. Now, as I said, the PDF should give you all the things. I think most people start with one move and get to pick two more. You'll all have some slightly down towards the bottom of the sheets. You'll all have your own special thing. These are a bit like Masks playbooks in that each playbook has kind of a core mechanic outside of its moves that do various things. Some are more involved than others. But so I'll give you as long as you need to look through that and start making your choices. I'm probably going to pause the recording now because this probably won't be very interesting to revisit in the future. Cool. So we have our characters now. So I'm going to go through in character keeper order, which actually is now the same as the order I can see on my screen, which is convenient. Gowan, if you would like to start off by introducing the character that you'll be playing.
Okay, I am playing Nymphadora. Nymphadora literally meaning bride gift or maiden's gift. I'm a clockwork automaton that was crafted by Hephaestus to try and win the favor of Aphrodite. Although when she presented me to Aphrodite, I looked too much like a certain other goddess, Ceres, who is his wife in the Homer Odyssey, as opposed to the normal legend. And she cast me out of Olympus as a result. But I'm devoted to her. I was built to serve her as one of her handmaidens. And very much I still do that. I go around encouraging people to actually follow their loves, actually get together and hook up and have romances and follow their passions, but also to avenge the honor of Aphrodite if she is slighted or challenged. It's very much in Nymphadora's nature to be the creature that she was created to be.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you very much. And yes, Stephen, if you'd like to introduce your character.
yeah, one second here. I'm just sorting this out. Here we go. Yep. I am playing Berenice, daughter of Sparta, and perhaps applicable, and also literal daughter of Coronis, who we've gone over in world building. I am the let's see, what were we going over here for? Sorry, she, her, I am the Seeker, and I am always kitted out in my full armor. I usually have visored eyes because I keep my face covered, and I'm technically I'm technically, I guess, a spear lesbian, I guess is the way of it, because I mean, you can use a sword, I guess, if you're uncivilized. But I, however, am civilized, so I'll use a spear, thank you. I have abandoned the service to my mother. I'm still figuring out why, but will perhaps come out and play. But and perhaps I'm sure I might have let her know that I'm going, but I might have also just kind of left without saying a word. Probably the latter, but I'm sure she knew. I left a note saying I'd be gone a few hours, and I'm gone more than a few hours at this point.
Awesome. I like that. That's cool. It's always good to start off with complicated parent issues. Last but not least, Diana, if you would like to introduce who you'll be playing.
Yeah, one sec. I just realized I did not want this move. I wanted another one.
No,
Okay.
it's not a problem.
Yeah, so I am playing Rhode. She, they. Rhode is Greek for roses, and I thought that was pretty good for, like, roses have thorns, don't mess with them. Just look from afar at how pretty they are. They have mercurial. The playbook is outdated because it's supposed to be mercurial demeanor instead of eyes, but same thing. Never quite looking the same at each encounter. They attune themselves to a certain situation. They generally wear hooded clothing, but they also most of the time are wearing the clothes that they are for in a role, whether that's a theater role or a spy role or a thieving role. Um, and they have a venomous sword, which looks like a decorative, like, play theater sword. It doesn't look like it can actually break anything or slice anybody, but it's a real sword, and it was forged with poisonous elements, so it's always poisonous. I don't have to slather on poison every so often or anything like that. Um, and you might not even need to be sliced. You might just need to be touched by it for it to work. And her whole thing being the trickster is a whole life of not being who they were, because you know how some legends go, finding a baby in a basket kind of thing, unknown parentage and everything. And she seemed to blend in, having the same dark coloring as most people um, of the Greek society, but not knowing where her quiet origins are, probably not from this side of the hemisphere. And so she's learned to always just keep people at a distance, to watch them to see how they react, because she's noticed that they're not too fond of outsiders, be it of the mortal sense or immortal sense a lot of the times. And, like, what better not way of watching people and seeing how they are than being in a thieving theater troupe, you know?
Perfect. So, thank you very much, everyone. I'm just checking if there is a. I don't think these are on the character keeper itself. So on the handouts PDF, on page 9, there is a bit where it just says relationships worksheet, and this just has like the sort of standard like 3 questions that many PBTA games use for establishing initial relationships. So if you want to flip to that, I will actually, just in case you don't have it open at the minute, I will, except I've got it open in just from my PC rather than from a. Yeah, I've just put a direct link to that in the chat if you need to see it. So yeah, on page 9 of that, there's a section that says relationships worksheet. So we'll do the usual thing. I'll start with these are obviously set up by playbook. They're sort of separate to the PDF thing just for space reasons, because these are fairly busy playbooks. So I will start with our devoted Nymphadora. Would you like to ask? So again, I'm fairly flexible with how you do this. If you want to ask, if someone is interested in fulfilling that role, or if you want to ask someone directly if they want to do it, either way works for me. But yeah, would you like to ask one of your initial questions?
You're muted if you're talking.
Sorry, I'm just getting it up.
No
Not
worries.
in the. It's not where I thought they would be.
It's page 7 for me in the PDF.
Oh, sorry, I may be. It might be the way my thing has numbered it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I also wanted to add, just in case it might flavor some of these relationship questions. If everyone's okay, I feel like my character is kind of like the face. So I'm the one that like would go and negotiate, like either if we have a legitimate job or like, the one that talks to the captain of the other ship. Since I can easily trick and lead people into that. Obviously I don't play the captain most of the time, but
Okay, well, for my first question, one of the things it says is another PC an object of your devotion. I don't think so at this point. Although I've picked up the move that if I become smitten with people, they do become an object of my devotion. So I'd like to actually have that develop in game.
Yep, absolutely. No, that is cool. No worries.
I mean, random thought out there. If you want Nymphadora, what if Coronis got it on with Aphrodite, and just through Greek divine magic, I'm also the child of Aphrodite.
I am fine with that.
I could just see David's face light up.
I am absolutely fine with that.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always good to have a few random demigods around, just in case. Yeah, that's perfect. So yeah, Berenice, would you like to go with one of your starting relationship questions?
Yeah, and I should be looking at my.
Yeah, so the Seeker relationships. So no, it's in that handouts PDF.
Okay, it's in the other one.
Yeah.
All right.
Actually, it might be in both. When saying that, but it's not on the actual playbook itself. Because, like I said, I just don't think they can fit it on there.
Yeah. Sure. Well, somebody else might throw this out here. I guess I'll ask, who's the most outrageous of my new companions?
I feel like that might be me.
Yeah.
Because I'll what's the phrase? I'll commit to the bit. So whatever bit that is, it could be me playing as an old woman, like about to have a heart attack kind of thing. I'll commit, like, so not caring about.
I think you probably had to explain how acting worked to Berenice. I probably think you did.
Yeah. It's just like lying.
Okay, and if you could explain lying.
Oh boy.
It's like deceiving your enemy.
It's a strategy to get into. It's a strategy to get into the minds of your enemy so that you can defeat them without actually killing them.
I see little point of that, but if you insist.
Oh God, this is going to be so much trouble.
Awesome. That sounds fun. And yeah, Rhode, if you'd like to go with one of yours.
I feel like Nymphadora might have seen a hint about what's behind my mask. Possibly.
I'm all about bringing people together, and I think I see that desire for intimacy, but just the fear of it.
Yeah, because yeah, you like in typical like matchmaker like characters like, oh, those two, yeah, I could see you two, like, and so you're always watching out, and even though I do pretty good job of like, nah, like I'm just here for the money or whatever, you could see like, yeah, the hints of when I'm like looking at two people or three people together, you know.
Could we say that I'm always trying to hook you up with people?
Yeah. I like that.
So, yes, have you met my friend by any chance?
You seem to have friends everywhere. Which one is this one you speak of?
It was you, darling, you.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, background to you, Nymphadora. Yeah, would you like to answer ask another of your questions, or declaim another of your questions, as the case may be?
Who looks out for you even when you don't look out for yourself?
I wonder if we should save one of our questions just in case we do get a fourth player.
Yeah, that is probably a good idea. I was just intending probably to go to.
And if not, if we don't get the fourth player, then we can answer it.
Yeah, exactly.
So in which case then, sorry, I'm trying to remember the character names. Let me get back to the sheet. Rhode. Did I save you from a terrible fate?
Ooh. I think so, yeah. I'm trying to think what would be the best. I think I was yeah, I think I was like probably like about to be executed for one of my personas. Because I don't think I realized like how, like, I think it was like one of the personas of like, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Hold on. I think it was like I was doing like a scoundrel playbook persona kind of thing, and I got this person super devoted to me, but I had no feelings for it. And once they realized it was like, you know, a con, basically, they were gonna execute me, because it was like, oh, oops, it was like the princept of this like minor outlying kingdom.
Can I add to that slightly, if you're
Yeah.
okay with this? They gave you the option of either being executed or actually going into this loveless marriage.
Exactly, and I was like, I choose death.
Yeah, I'm fine. I am fine with that. Do we have any idea who that person was?
I can't think of it, but since you've played Assassin's Creed, you probably have a lot of like random names in your head right now.
I've got beyond. Should we go? Berenice. How do you actually say your character name? Is it Berenice or Berenice?
Yeah, I think it's Berenice.
Okay. Do you have a sister by any chance?
Probably have many half sisters.
Or
Yeah,
a brother?
many half sisters. Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, I guess I
I'm
have
trying to-
several brothers on my mortal mom side. I probably have a whole ton of siblings on my divine side.
Okay, so let's link it into Coronis then.
Sure.
So what would be a good name for? Let's go with the classic. Your brother's name is Hector,
Okay.
because we've got a lot of names we can't pronounce. So let's have one we can. You- I also think that's one of the reasons Coronis is actually chasing us to actually get Rhode to follow through on that promise.
I just like the idea that she is chasing us for. She does not even know that I am with you at the moment.
It's just a
Excellent.
comedy of
That
miscommunication.
that's a perfect tension to have in the group. Oh no, it's her again. Quick, it's your mother. Hide.
Awesome. So cool. I'm blanking now. Veronica, did you have a second question you wanted to ask now?
I'm kind of thinking. I guess I don't know. I guess I kind of want to hold off on these two questions until we know if we have a fourth.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fair. We can do that. That's cool. I'll just check in as well. Rhode, do you have another question you want to ask now, or would you rather wait until next time? Obviously, if there's like one you think is an easy match for someone, then we can do that now. But otherwise, I'm happy to pick up on that next time.
I think based on the little bit of like RP questioning we just recently did, whom am I most concerned about? Berenice. Like, despite the fact that Berenice is obviously a very capable warrior, that's all they know. You know?
Sure thing. Yeah, that's cool.
And she has, and while Rhode has a nice face, she does have weak little arms and probably needs me to defend her.
Right.
Well, actually, no, I did choose one of my things. Like, I don't fight the weak's battles.
Ooh.
I'll throw you into the fight to see how you to see if you sink or swim. I'll help you by forcing you to learn to fight for yourself, Rhode. Don't worry.
Will you shout encouragement and actually give advice mid-fight?
I mean, I'll shout orders at her. You should be ducking now, Rhode.
I love it. I love that it's not the construct that has trouble with interacting with humans. It's the demigod.
Excellent. Cool. Well, I think with that, I will we'll leave things there for this evening. We've got a lot of stuff to work from for next time, so that's cool. I said hopefully we should have a fourth player. I'll check in with those who are on the wait list in the intervening time. I'll hopefully try and get a bit of their character creation done offline as well. So we'll hopefully be able to get into things fairly sharpish at the beginning of next session. I said we'll go over the characters that we've just go over the character relationship bits that we haven't sort of filled out yet, to get everyone looped in. The other thing we'll be doing as part of that is you will start with a number of strings on other characters, dependent on how you see your relationships with each other. But again, I'll cover that next time. We might as well wait till we're all here again to do that. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone. It's been good fun. It's been nice to see you all. Nice to get the first game of the new year in as early as possible. So yeah, I hope you all have a good time. I'm going to stop our recording now.